clapping again, but...
You can clap. Can you clap loud enough that both mics will pick it up?
We'll see. All right.
Yeah, I got that.
Nice, I got it too. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was. Thank God you didn't eat these gummy bears during the movie so that I can eat them right now. I didn't realize how
we had a backup just in case. For that very eventuality.
The fact that you were like, buy me some gummy bears, and then we get to your house and you haven't... How many pounds is that bag of gummy bears?
Okay, pounds?
Is that the one from the last time we recorded in person?
Yes, yeah, I haven't cracked it yet.
Oh my God.
It's a sacred seal I can't break. Oh wait, no, actually it isn't. I ate those. This is a new one that I picked up since.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because we were talking about it. I was like, yeah, I did find it again on Amazon. But they're out of stock pretty often, okay? Especially at the price I get it. I get it at a really good price.
I found these gummy bears that I bought today at the fucking gas station at Sheetz.
Hey, they sell
Not
gas.
even like behind glass the way that you treat them. Like they sell gas. Shut the fuck up.
They got them like locked up.
This is what they were fighting for in this movie.
True.
Bears. Should we talk about the...
You a real American?
Listen.
You like the Albanese gummy bears or the Haribo?
We'll talk about that. No.
Haribo?
Should we talk about our movie theater experience today? So this is We Want to Watch. That's Ricky.
Are we not using the old open? I'm Ricky. That's Lane.
I am Lane. Okay, I gotta stop eating these on the mic. What cold open?
We're not gonna use the 2-minute cold open we had. I like that. Just before this.
I deleted that recording.
Wow.
So, sorry.
Great. Well, I guess this is what we're going with, folks. I had a good...
Folks?
Wow. Pause. Let it be known, I had a good intro to this ep.
And then Ricky fucked up the mic, so we had to
And then I fucked up the mic. So yeah, you know, it comes and it goes, right?
Okay, just for the listeners at home, we're recording in Ricky's apartment, and there's 5 cats here, so you're definitely going to hear cats today. I'm sorry, I'm not editing it out. There's a cat crinkling a piece of masking tape or something right now. Duct tape? Folded over duct tape.
No, you're close. It's the plastics from the top of the 40-pound cat litters. It's that sort of like weaved plastic material.
You buy 40 pounds of cat litter at a time?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm economical with it.
When we saw this movie in theaters today,
movie being...
Hang on, man. You keep trying to cue me up. We can't do this kind of in-person thing often.
I'm trying to sell the T-balls, you know?
When we saw this movie in person, there was an incredibly obnoxious family. Mostly just the dad was really obnoxious sitting behind us, who was ripping burps during, like, quiet moments, like silent moments during this movie, making sarcastic comments, getting up. At one point he said, like, oh, God damn it, like he spilled something, but I didn't hear him spill anything.
I didn't hear that. I did hear him say, like, oh, yeah, well, like, that figures, I guess.
Yeah, having, like, Marvel reactions to...
Right, like, near, like, the pivotal scene where it's supposed to be... I mean, there's definitely emotions there. I think it's supposed to be, like, probably difficult to process in the moment. So they just really blatantly out of hand be like, yeah, I saw that one coming. Yeah.
But you wanted to give me shit about asking him to be quiet. You were going to chew me out. You weren't going to have my back. If that had escalated into civil war in that movie theater...
I would have had your back, because I would have needed to. I'm guilty by proximity in this occurrence. So, like, don't doubt me there. Also, I don't know. I just think that, like... I mean, especially with how empty the movie theater was, sure, that's where it's, like, definitely a little less acceptable.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're in a packed movie theater, like, people talking and stuff,
But
whatever.
that's the thing. It's like, it's one thing if you lean over to your friend and you, like, say something and you keep it quiet and, like, you're not, like, doing it every time it's fucking, like, silent in the movie theater. Like, or the genre of movie, like, there's definitely context to it to take into consideration. And this movie is not one where I want to hear you fucking burping and, like, whatever during the...
Yeah, your bodily functions, leave them at home.
Yeah. Well, especially there's a way to burp and not have it be disruptive, too, which is, like, that, yeah, this guy... And then when I said something to him, he's like, oh, like, he had some smart-ass thing to say.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you.
One of you said, like, thank you. I think you might have said thanks. I don't know. Also it's very different being in, like, a crowded movie theater just because the, like, general ambient noise level is, like, a little bit higher, so you can sort of get away with stuff like that. But I've been in packed theaters for, like... I've been in packed theaters with kids, like, working at the summer camp, watching like, I don't know, Monsters University it was. Dead silence in that
Hell
movie
yeah.
theater.
They were locked in.
They're all locked the fuck in. I had 4 kids cry during that movie, and still they made less noise than this guy in this fucking film.
The movie we watched is Civil War from 2024. That's why it's in theaters right now. Not to date the podcast.
Right. Not to put a date on it, but...
This is We Want to Watch. My name's Lane.
My name's Ricky.
I can't remember if we introduced ourselves already because we've done like 4 takes.
We did, but you started. You were like, that's
Ricky.
That's
Ricky. Yeah. Well,
it's
that's
like,
funny.
Should I introduce you then, or...
I was trying to throw you off.
You did. On your toes. You did well with it. Yeah.
Why did we pick this movie?
I
gave you 3 distinct distinct reasons.
Oh, shit. All right. I was supposed to remember these. I didn't know I was... All right, just for the listeners, I did not know I was going to be quizzed on this. Jesse Plemons.
First
and
foremost.
First and foremost.
Which was definitely my 3rd reason, not my first, but that's fine. Yeah.
All right. If this was like Family Feud, I would have expected to see that in the top spot. Yeah. Which also means I have to get 3... I get 3 like false guesses, false flags, if you will.
Oh my god!
Because there's civil war in America right now. That's not
okay.
One. That
and the 3rd reason.
That wasn't the second.
So
reason.
I thought this movie was going to be bad.
Okay.
I thought that there was going to be like bad politics in this movie.
I also thought this movie was going to be very bad, and
I'm not done. I have a point. I thought it was going to be bad politics. I thought the movie was going to be bad, and Jesse Plemons. And I said that was a good, the makings of a good episode. Yeah. And the thing is that this movie's not bad. Mm-hmm. This movie doesn't have bad politics, and there's like 5 minutes of Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but like, he wasn't even in the credits. He wasn't.
No, he was uncredited, I believe. Yeah, I thought for
crazy.
Sure he was going to be the with. Like, you know, like in the casting,
right.
I thought for sure he was going to be with, it was like with Jesse Plemons. It was not. I don't think he was in any of the credits.
They had Ron Swanson, right? Is that his actual name or is that his Parks
that's his
name?
fucking Parks and Rec name.
Oh, what's his real name?
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, right.
Yeah, which I've never liked him in anything, and so seeing him get shot, spoilers, at the end of this movie was a little rewarding. I just watched a shitty movie from like 15 years ago with him in it, and he was awful, and so I was like, oh, okay.
I don't think he did anything other than Parks and Rec.
He's an actor. Yeah, he's a movie star, yeah. I mean, he's not in a ton. He's mostly a TV guy, but yeah, he had a side part in a shitty Ryan Gosling movie I just watched a few weeks ago.
I didn't ask about his hairline.
Anyway, so I thought this movie was actually pretty good.
I like this one.
It's not incredible. It's not like a 5-star film, but it was way better than I was expecting.
So, I kind of want to ask about the themes. If we can dive right into it.
Yeah. Okay.
Was this supposed to be a coming of age for the girl?
No, she's like 25.
Right, but I mean, 25. I mean, she looks really young. A, and B. I mean, it's the same like plot arc that her sort of mentor in the film goes through, right? Or like went through in the They mentioned they like draw parallels. They're like, oh, like you were about the same age.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it's,
when she's young, not during the course of the movie.
Right. And I mean, it's also like, I mean, her motivations are really weird throughout the film, in my eyes.
The girl?
Yeah. Like, I think near the end she gets almost suicidal, and like kind of. So the thing she says like early in the film where she's like, if I get shot, like, will you?
Right, that was foreshadowing
for sure.
Of the highest order.
Yeah, and I mean, foreshadowing. I'm not going to say anything else about it, but I mean,
what?
All right, spoilers. It's also kind of a red herring, right?
I just spoiled the whole end of the movie here.
Yeah. It's also kind of a red herring.
I don't think it's a red herring at all. No. I feel like when you hear her say that, where Kirsten Dunst, or she asks Kirsten Dunst, like, will you take a picture of me if I get shot? That's clearly communicating, like, oh, Kirsten Dunst is getting shot, and she's going to take a picture of it at the end.
Because I just saw it as, like, oh, like, she was just going to be another casualty of war. And then, like, when Kirsten Dunst deletes the photo of the older guy who was with them, which presumably it's, like, the last photo of him, and it's, like, the photo that she took as he was, like, dying.
Yeah.
I saw that as, like, her, like, all right, like, completely disconnecting, right? And being like, all right, well, I, like, and she sort of reprimands the girl earlier in the film for
Right.
like don't let emotions become a part of it, yada yada. Um, so I thought that it was just like a like Chekhov's gun, I guess, right? Where it's like, oh, like she said it, and it prophesied like so she is just going to get shot later in the film, and like Kirsten Dunst was going to like either I thought she was gonna have like a mental break, right? Like I thought that was going to be
Which she came really close to.
right. It seemed like it was building up to that, and then I was like, oh, like that's going to be the last straw. She's just going to like break down, like crying, like unable to do anything, and she won't be able to take that final shot, right? Which is why, like,
Yeah.
I mean, the way that it was set up when she ran across, I was like, oh, okay, so like the girl's going to run across and get shot, and then like
Oh, for sure, I knew that she was going to dive in front of it and like save her.
yeah,
100%.
wow, I was I don't know, I was like, well, maybe not, but
You need to watch more movies.
yeah, I guess so. Just the way that they shot the like once it like transitioned to the scene where you see like the guys start moving out, that's when I was like, oh, okay, like she's definitely going to jump out there. But it wasn't until like which was like 5 or 10 seconds before that scene, right? That was the only time that I was like, oh, okay, all right, like Kirsten Dunst is the one being shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, one of the comments that was made was, this is what she was doing after she broke up with Spider-Man.
Yeah, in the very beginning, this fucking asshole behind us is, like, making jokes about Spider-Man. It's like, and the guy was, like, the dad of the family. Like, he was, like, probably in his late 40s. Like, he looked old.
I didn't look back.
Old enough to know better than to fucking make dumbass jokes about Spider-Man. Fuck you. All you're doing is showing that you don't know anything about movies or the world. Like... Oh, I recognize this actress from the one time 20 years ago that she was in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Was she in the original Spider-Man?
She was in the Tobey Maguire ones, yeah.
Which one's Tobey Maguire? I don't know who he is. Is he the...
The first one.
The first one? Okay.
Yeah, the one in the Raimi trilogy, since you've established that you know who Sam Raimi is.
You just had to say Raimi trilogy, all right? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy. Just like... It was at such like an out-of-place time, too.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what scene it was, but there was definitely, like...
Was it during the time when she was having the flashbacks in the bathtub? Like, when at the hotel before they leave?
Yeah, and you see someone being immolated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Immolated, yeah.
Immolated. And it was like, as someone was burning on screen.
Yeah.
Like, he cracks this joke, and it's like, really?
I have this joke with Christopher that, like, everyone should get, when you're a driver, if you have your license... Every day that you drive, you should get the chance to revoke one other person's license. Like, if I'm on the road and I see somebody, like, you know, tailgating or, like, you know, don't use their blinker and, like, cut someone off and almost cause a wreck. Boom, yep, license revoked.
You've got, like, a
done.
radar gun, you just...
Yeah, like, their tires just, like, they're a fucking car just comes to a stop.
Immediately.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, if you go to the movie theater, you should have the same rule, where you can just, like, nope, you don't get to watch movies ever again. At home, in the theater, like...
Yeah, so, like, I will say, in the very beginning, like, we could hear, like, Godzilla versus Kong in the other theater. Right?
I don't mind that so much.
That wasn't too bad, but it did sort of, like, break some of the tension in the very, very beginning. First, like, 5 minutes, I was like, oh, like, this isn't too bad. And then they started, like... and then the very beginning scene happens where... Spoilers.
Go see this movie. It's a good movie.
Go see this movie. It is a good movie. So like, stop listening right now and go watch it. If you're going to see it, if you're not,
if you're expecting us to do a plot synopsis start to finish, it ain't fucking happening. Go read the wiki page.
Stop listening to us. All right?
Stop listening to us.
Stop listening to us. Right now, and like watch the movie. So, if the guy in the flag runs into the crowd,
it was a woman. Because there was a long shot, and the minute that she puts the backpack on, and she's got the American flag.
Oh yeah.
And at the minute that they lingered on that, and she had that like look of determination on her face, I was like, she's got a suicide bomb in her backpack for sure.
Okay, I saw her putting the backpack on. I was like, oh okay, she's about to be pivotal. And then, like I was focused on like Kirsten Dunst like pulling the recorder safety, yada yada.
Uh-huh.
And then I saw the flag rushing in. I didn't see like who was carrying her or anything,
yeah.
but I was like, oh my god. And, like, you get, like, the half second of, like, the flag fluttering and, like, someone, like, running into the crowd. And it's, like, so loud, so bombastic. We've talked before about Michael Mann's Heat, in which there's a scene... do you want to say the year it was made?
No, go ahead. Do you know?
No.
Too bad. Look it up.
Fuck! 1972?
72?
1992?
Oh my god.
1980.
If
Split the
if
difference.
you had any fucking claim to credibility for talking about movies, it is gone now.
What is it?
95.
Alright, well, I was close at 92.
It's crazy that you think that movie could be made in the 70s. It's crazy that you weren't like, fucking Natalie Portman is in this movie. Like,
I don't know who Natalie Portman is.
okay, alright, anyway, so
You can name any of the actors in that film. Actually, well, I know Robert De Niro. I know who that is. I thought he was old. He's like old though. He's really old.
he is really old.
He wasn't
and he
that
was
old in the
old in that
film.
movie. He was like 50 in that movie.
Wow.
Oh my god. Okay. We're not talking about Heat. We're here to talk about Civil War, the movie from Alex Garland. Have you
And
seen
2024.
that did just come out? Have you seen Ex Machina or Annihilation or Men?
No, I assume these are all. Oh wait, I think I've seen Men. Is that the one where, like, all? No, I don't know. No, I haven't seen it.
Go ahead. What?
Is that like the British film where, like, either all men have died or like
Oh no, that's you're thinking of Children of Men.
children men? Okay, yeah. Then no, I
No.
haven't seen it. Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't seen Ex Machina.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Not ringing any bells.
He's also done if you've seen the GIF of Oscar Isaac like dancing.
I don't know who Oscar.
Jesus
Isaac is.
Christ, you're crazy. How are you on Twitter actively and you don't know celebrity
I
names?
probably know who he is, but I've never like been asked like, hey,
He's the
in
guy-
this funny GIF I just posted, who is this actor?
Oh my god. Okay. Have you seen 28 Days Later? Do you know that movie? Holy shit. Okay. Anyway, so Alex Garland is the writer of that movie and the director of many others and the director of this movie. I've only seen Annihilation and parts of that movie, Men, and like wasn't totally blown away. I think this is better than either of those, but I haven't seen Ex Machina, which people love. So
are they also post-apocalyptic or?
no, Ex Machina is like a sci-fi movie, kind of like ethical questions about sci-fi. Seems Blade Runner-y. Annihilation is like a kind of like an alien sci-fi movie, and then Men is like a spooky, psychological, domestic violence horror movie, I guess is the best way to call it.
Hey, I like spooky movies, you know.
Yeah, I think that movie's a little overcooked, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, 28 Days Later, though, is great.
Okay. What is that one?
That's a zombie movie.
That's a
That's
zombie
the Killian movie.
Oh, okay.
It shows full peen.
Oh, well.
He's
Wait,
hot in
why
that
didn't you
movie.
start with that?
I figured this episode's going to be horny enough. I don't need-
It's got Jesse Plemons in it, and even the mention of what you know.
It's true.
No.
But yeah, so it seemed like the discourse around this movie, leading up to it, people were like, oh, because of the comments from this director, like, oh, it's apolitical, like the map looks ridiculous, like the
It
Civil
does.
War map,
Yeah.
which it still does. But yeah, I guess, I don't know, what do you think? I have a take, but I want to hear your take.
I mean, I think maybe a part of that is just to drive people to theaters.
Yeah,
I think
that's a good
it's-
point.
I think it also drives maybe not the wrong crowd, but a crowd who's viewing it through maybe an incorrect lens or like a lens different than the creator meant. You know, and I know death of the author and everything, right? I shouldn't really be imposing that.
Ricky is
on them.
pulling out his books of his several volumes of plot devices and
Ling
literary
gets to see
terms.
it in action.
Yeah.
The wall of library books that I have to like take
yeah.
down.
I also
Yeah.
see the Johnny Walker in the
I've
background.
got Encyclopedia Britannica here,
Alright.
and it's actually all hollowed out and just filled with Johnny Walker bottles, which
So-
just watch me pull out.
I do think that people are going to come into this. I think if you can't take any politics from this movie, like, you're not smart. Like, if you like
Right.
you're not very media literate. I
Yeah,
guess.
it's definitely not apolitical.
Right. Yeah.
But it's also
They just want like Donald Trump to be in the movie and then like the bad guy who dies. Like that is what people are looking for, I feel
Right.
like. Yeah.
Right,
Which
right.
maybe we don't need our movies to be that didactic and direct.
yeah. I mean, so I didn't see Don't Look Up, but I also heard that it was like very much so similar in the
Yeah,
way that
that's
it was like
the bad version of that movie or of this movie.
right,
Yeah.
right. It sort of seems like it, where it was like very direct, but it also didn't look like a good movie. Period.
No.
I'd say one of my favorite parts about this movie, and it's kind of weird, I've heard people say like you're not supposed to do a ton of jump cuts, then it makes stuff look like sloppy or maybe not well edited. And this movie, I think, uses a lot of jump cuts to really good effect.
What do you mean by jump cuts?
So I would call a jump cut any cut where they like anytime that they take a picture, right?
That's not what a jump cut is.
What is a jump cut?
Not that. I mean, a jump cut is like you're shooting something and then you jump to a completely different like moment in time or a different perspective.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean the like quick shutter speed kind of like whatever like just a few frames of which I think is actually used to pretty good effect.
I was going to say, I really liked it here.
Yeah. It works for the action, even though, yeah, I guess it drives home the violence a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when we get to the end and we start to see everything through the black and white camera lens, right? And we wait for that moment, right? The sweet spot that they talk about earlier in the film. And I don't know, I mean, a lot of the times, and like even in the death right before that's shown, or the two deaths right before that, she takes pictures while people are being shot, right? Mm-hmm. And in this last one, like you see him get shot, and you see him his like body sort of like convulse a bit, and then she waits until the shooter sort of like looks up at her, and like that's when they take. And it is a great shot, right? Like it's like well composed.
But then it looks
historical.
Over the credits, there's like the photo of them all smiling around his body, which is fucking crazy. Yeah.
But also like I mean, just from like a war perspective, I guess, right? Like that shit does happen.
Oh, for sure,
100%.
Like, yeah. There's a lot of imagery that is directly pulled from like fucking Guantanamo and like shit like that in Iraq, for sure.
From wars and from like hostage situations as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Specifically the Jesse Plemons scene, if we want to talk about that now.
We're so early into the episode. I feel like I don't want to blow my load too early here.
Well, you can bask in the afterglow. No, we'll hold off.
I have to cut that.
Why? That's good stuff. Whatever.
No, that scene, and then when they have there's the scene where there's 3 hostages at the is it at the gas station that they stop at? I can't remember where it is, or like shortly after there's 3 hostages and they bag their heads.
Yeah.
That part is, and then they spray them down with bullets. It's fucking horrifying.
So that was after they killed the one guy up top, and that's kind of. All right, that brings up in like a sort of question I had about this one too. So the secondary character, the guy, I forget his name.
Joel, the male journalist that isn't Stephen McKinley Henderson. The old guy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. Also, Stephen McKinley Henderson. Damn, he got the fit. I wish I could be wearing that shit.
The suspenders with the pants that are up to the nipples.
All the way up. That shit's clean. It's so clean. Oh my god.
He does look good. Did you see Dune? The first Dune? He's in Dune.
I know, yeah.
I was going to say, he looks like that too.
Navigator. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the one thing they cut from, who did the old version of Dune?
Oh, David Lynch?
Yeah, David Lynch. They cut from Lynch. So Lynch had, like, weird little creatures, right? And they kept, like, the spider as a weird little creature homage to Lynch. But they cut the, like, space navigators, who are just these weird, like, alien beings. Even though, like, never in the books has it said that. It's just, like, they're just guys who are high on spice. But Lynch was like, yeah, he's a freaky alien guy who's high on spice.
So, you wanted to talk about the male journalist?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the All Movies podcast.
Yeah. So Joel, like he definitely does seem to revel in like the warfare aspect of it, right? And like he like seems really bloodthirsty and like war hungry, yada yada. So much so that like he's really delighted just to like be around this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, like obviously this has impacted him before, right? Like he has to have made friends in the past, and they
have died.
They have died, right? Like invariably, right?
Yeah.
So like I don't know. It's just odd to me that some like later in the film, 2 of his friends die in front of him, and he's just like completely like not completely broken after that. He does kind of get back on his feet for the next, fucking I don't even know what to call it, war frenzy. His next
the battle
op.
scene.
Yeah. But like in that moment, it seems like it's hit him really, really fucking hard. Which is like it's just odd, and it doesn't seem like he revels in like the death of it all, or like in the torture. Like he wasn't particularly interested in the guys who were like being hung
The
up or
actual
anything.
violence, yeah. It's not so
Right.
much that, it's just like the idea of violence and
Like the proximity to it, just
the
being there.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But even like seeing like innocents sort of die, right? When they were first
Yeah, it takes his friends dying for him to like break down and like feel anything.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Because like he was when they were first scaling the building, and then like there's a guy. He's like he says straight up like, "Hey, like I don't have a weapon. I am blank forces." And they come in and they shoot him, and he sort of like jumps at that almost.
Yeah.
But then he sees the three guys outside, burlap sacks on. I mean, maybe he didn't jump. I think he was like more so worried about how the new girl would react to it.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
Because that's sort of a trial by fire for her. But when they go outside with the three, like he was smiling and stuff.
Yeah, he's like pointing and like,
like
kinda
laughing,
like,
yeah, chumming it
yeah.
up with the one guy who
Yeah.
just shot the dude upstairs.
Yeah.
I will say that the way that they mixed the music in this movie
Was
really fun.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe fun is the wrong word, but in that scene,
Interesting. Yeah.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
In that scene, it cuts right from the song, and then like it has like a snare drum line or a like.
Yeah, and it's the bullets.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, like grisly for sure, but there's intent there, obviously. Like it's supposed to do that.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely a very negative view of war type of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some of the music I think is a little too on the nose. Like during the when Stephen McKinley, what is that character's name? Sammy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he dies or is bleeding out in the car, there's like a kind of like a sad, like mopey acoustic song.
Everybody hurts.
Yeah, it wasn't
was
the
not
REM
that.
song, but it could have been.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
conceivably, and that was, I mean, that, and then there were just a couple other songs that just seemed like a little bit on the nose, but
Yeah.
I think the way that they were used makes up for it a bit, I guess.
The way that scene was shot, and like I mean, the whole movie uses like it scenes really well. It uses light really well too, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like in the scene we were just talking about where they were clearing the stairs and everything, like they have to going upstairs, they have to switch on the flashlights, and it just adds like a weird dimension to like of tension going into that, which is then like immediately broken by like seeing them sort of joyous, celebrating.
Yeah.
And it adds this, like, the whole movie is like a weird juxtaposition of like people going about like normal everyday life with extreme violence happening like immediately on the outskirts.
And their thirst for it to happen.
Right.
Like that is what this movie is like,
Right.
oh, we're all like really, we just want to fucking fight right now and like kill each other. Like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's just like American society turned up to 12, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
11. It's one step past that, but
yeah. I do think it's a kind of an inspired choice to show, or like intentionally not show which like army is which in a lot of the violent encounters. Like you
Yeah.
can kind of infer a couple times just because it seems like the Western forces are much more open to the journalists, which you know,
a protective.
yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah. Whereas they're almost hostile to they've talked about like, oh, the United States isn't the United States hasn't interviewed, or like the president hasn't done an interview in 14 months.
Right.
So
So we know that there's like three factions, right? It's the secessionists, the Western Front.
I think
almost four too. Right?
I'm pretty
'Cause
sure the
there's
Western
Florida.
Front is and then there's another separate one with Florida. That's like the central something.
Well,
here, let's look up the shitty map here.
Yeah. Well, because like it's DC, and I guess everyone else is a secessionist, right? So like the Western Front would be Florida coalition, yada yada. But it seems like large swaths of the country are like just untouched by this.
Yeah, right.
But then they do show the like police state within a area very close to the border. And I mean, obviously it looks a lot like modern day DC, right? Like
yeah.
Pittsburgh there. In the film, it's just modern day DC. Like there's snipers on rooftops. I mean, these guys were less snipers and more dudes with AKs standing on the rooftops. And I mean, also the way they shot that, really cool. I sort of like that, like the slow zoom out, so you just see them.
Oh
peeking
at the top.
when
yeah.
they were like,
it's tense.
smoking
This
cigarettes.
is a very tense movie.
Yeah.
So there's the New People's Army is like the Pacific Northwest up through Minnesota, and then the Western Forces is Texas and California. The Loyalist States is everything kind of north of the Mason-Dixon line, and then the Florida Alliance is like Oklahoma to Florida. that swath. So, like, you don't really hear much about the New People's Army or the Florida Alliance in this movie. But yeah, I mean, I guess the secessionists is like everybody. It's the U.S. versus everybody.
Yeah.
It's fucking what's his name, Nick Offerman versus everyone.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't Offerman himself. Yeah. So cut that one out. That one was bad. For how much this like movie seemed to be marketed based off of the map, because that was the only thing that I saw about it prior to Lane sending me the map. Even, like they don't use it at all. It's not really.
Yeah, it's marketing.
mentioned.
It's purely for marketing.
Right,
Like it's
right.
purely to get people to be like, how the fuck are California and Texas, on the same side? And it's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. For this
It
movie.
actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing. I really, really enjoy that because they never pull out a map. They never
No,
like
they never
plot. They're never
they never
charting.
say like, and so 5 years ago is when they first. The
Right.
only like piece
Yeah,
of
yeah.
exposition. There's like two kind of key pieces of like whatever table setting that they do to kind of explain how we got here, but that's really not important. And like we know there's water shortages, and then there's like the three questions that they joke about asking during the president during the
Yes.
interview, which are like, why are you drone striking Americans, and why your
How do you
third
feel about
term.
your third term? Yeah.
Yeah, and then what was the third one?
When the younger girl was asking.
No. There was a third question.
The
with
third question.
Fuck.
Because he's like, how do you feel about your third term? Oh, I'm not going to throw him softballs.
Yeah, and then there was some. I wish I could remember what it was.
Yeah.
If only this movie was online, so we could stream it right now and watch it.
We get like the shitty hand cam version. It's the one that I took at the theater just now.
Oh my god.
We can replay the burps in the background. Well, another piece of like sort of exposition is when they were talking about, I forgot the lead woman's name again.
Lee?
No,
Kirsten?
yeah, Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Yeah. Lee is her character's
Lee,
name.
yeah. So when they're talking about Lee's past, the like younger girl mentions the Antifa shooting at, I don't remember
the
if she said
Antifa
where,
massacre.
but Antifa massacre, yeah, and like
at
that,
like some college or something.
right,
Yeah.
and like that was like her like Lee's breakout sort of like
Picture.
picture.
Yeah.
That's
She got
what
the picture of the
Canadian was.
century.
Yeah.
Right.
And like that was the beginning of her career, and so I mean I guess it makes sense that like passing of the torch. That's why like I sort of see this movie as a coming of age, I guess, for the younger journalist. I don't know, like.
I feel like the movie has a really negative opinion of what happens to her. Like the
Oh, for
movie thinks
sure.
of it as like this is a bad ending.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a tragedy.
Yeah,
because we get
now
to...
she's jaded. Like
Right.
now she's she's like
it's,
Joel.
it's her baptism by fire, right?
Yeah.
And I mean we see like a like obviously renowned reporter at the end of her sort of like, I don't want to say cycle. It sounds weird. Like her career, I guess, right? Where it's like she has a very storied career. Like she's very recognizable, pretty obviously. She's well known, well respected, at least like for whatever that counts, for the people who care about that. So it's like again like the passing of the torch, where she's sort of not moving on, I guess. And I mean it does make sense, and especially in like the later scenes before the very end, before they get into the White House, when she's sort of like shell shocked. She's not taking pictures. She's not behind
she's
the
like
camera
crying
at all.
and like crouch over.
She's got her head on the wall. She's like,
which at first I
screaming
was
and
like, did she
everything.
get shot? And that was the reveal, but no, it's just that she's shell shocked.
It looked like she was like holding her side.
Yeah,
for
I
a
thought
part
she
of
was
it.
like like injured, but no.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't want to say that the whole ending thing maybe could have been cleaner, because also like when she was like going in, like her reporter instincts take over, and we see the girl several times go like a little too far out of the way.
Yeah.
And each and every time it's like, okay, well, she could die here, and like this could be her death photo.
Right.
Pretty much every time. Like they're shooting bazookas and stuff, and she's like,
yeah, she's just running out in the middle of the street.
like I don't know, like back it up a couple steps.
Yeah, I don't like that the Kirsten Dunst character does. Yeah, she's like sobbing and freaking out and whatever, and then she suddenly has this moment of clarity.
Right.
That feels like, I get that has to happen for the plot, but it is a little bit, contrived, I guess.
Yeah. Also, the run across before.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very sort of. like contrived, like you said.
Yeah, there's no characters really. Like this movie doesn't have very strong characterization. That's one of the weaker parts of it.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Joel. Like, not really a character. I mean, what's his name?
Sammy.
He's
making shit up.
I was close.
Stephanie.
Steffi is that his name? No, so Sammy. When he's shot, like he's not even really a character, right? Like he's
like the
he's
the
jolly
mentor-ish.
mentor.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like again, that's why like I don't know, a lot of weird sort of parallels. He's like the wizard that like brings you on your quest. You know, he's like come along with me. And
yeah,
then,
we
like,
don't know. It's even funny that she's like, Kaylee Spaney. What's her Jessie? She's like, oh, I know I didn't know him as long as you did, and then Lee is like, no, that's exactly
that's
and
who he was.
Oh, that's all this to this guy.
Like so what we've seen on screen, like that's it.
Yeah, like
he's not even one dimensional. He's just
yeah. So, but I don't think that's not what this movie's about.
No.
So I'm okay with it.
It's not even really like a bad thing, right? It's just like if you're expecting to like watch characters on a screen, like don't like it's it's not that.
It's a good action movie.
It is a good action movie. Yeah. Very bombastic and like a good theater experience.
For sure. Yeah. I will say toward the end, the battle scene where they're approaching the White House is a little bit Call of Duty-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when they start yelling to each other, reloading. I'm like, okay.
Oh, in the White House itself, that was a little.
That's
strange,
a lot.
But it was a lot. The way that they were guarding the press too is like odd to me. I mean, obviously, like I've never been in one of these situations, but the amount of times they sort of look back and like they're able to be like, hey, like get back, you know, like them making calls of like I'm going left, like I'm going right, like that sort of stuff. Like I could see like tactically you need that.
I guess it's more they know the importance of having the photo op. You know, like this is as much of a photo op as it is a battalion, you know, like moving in on a
Well,
so
I think
and they
for the
know
last
it.
guys for sure. Yeah. I mean, just in the way that they like ambush the cars as they're coming out, like that was like it was like a like a lion tearing apart of Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, where they're bringing tanks, they're like have mounted machine guns, just like mowing down these things. I mean, obviously the cars are like reinforced glass and everything.
That part really like that sucked. Like the part where they
open it
and they're like, "Don't shoot!" Yeah. Like I get that that's the point, you know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, having them say anything, like having them be able to say anything before dying, is like, oh man.
Yeah. Because and the movie doesn't answer who they are, or like obviously it was a decoy, right? Like idea, like to try and spend some resources out there and like whatever cause a distraction.
But you can tell they're non-combatants
for sure,
right?
Yeah,
it's like no one there's a combatant, and then the people who are left in there are all either like dead non-combatants, like people who were killed by the guys inside who had
or they
guns.
shot themselves,
right? Or they shot themselves, which is like I'm surprising. I mean, I know I made a Nick Offerman joke, but I'm surprised he didn't kill himself, honestly, like sort of Hitler style, right?
Well, they had the press secretary out there to basically be like, please let us go to Alaska. Like,
right. I mean, I guess it's supposed to paint him as the ultimate coward. I mean, when they're first walking in and like you see the desk just like covered with takeout boxes and everything, like littered, absolutely piled high with that.
That's what your fucking apartment looks like. I don't want to hear it. I mean, not right now because you cleaned. I can see in the background when we're fucking on Discord. I can see what your living situation is. Yeah.
Which I've cleaned up. But yeah, you do actually see that quite often.
Yeah.
That's the box, but.
Yeah, and then the end when he like basically begs for his life, and then the journalist is like, "That'll do." Like, okay.
I actually really like those. I mean, they're kind of cheesy, but like I like.
It couldn't have ended any other way.
Yeah. I like the lines themselves. He was like, I need a quote.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Don't look at me. Like, don't look at me. That'll do."
No, he says don't look. He says, "Don't let them kill me." That's what he says.
I thought he said, "Don't look at me."
No, that'd be even funnier though.
I thought.
Don't look at me.
I literally, I was like, this guy's a worm. He's just a little worm.
He says, "Don't let them kill me."
Oh, okay, all right.
Which is even darker, you know, of course, than "Don't look at me," which is funny.
What if he said, "Check out my other movie, Don't Look Up"?
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Check out the podcast we want to watch. No, but I think everyone that was a part of that knew, like, from the get, like, this is a photo op, right? And that's
Yeah.
why they take good care of their press.
Right.
Like, they need somebody to report, like, hey, we're the good guys, we did it. That's why they have them, like, smiling afterwards.
Yeah.
And then they don't show the one where everybody's sort of, like, jerking off, taking pictures around it.
Yeah, right,
so,
right. The some of the quieter parts of this movie are a little rough. I think the way they're written, they're clunky. A lot of like
the dialogue.
forced kind of like exposition about Kirsten Dunst's character's past and like that sort of thing.
And even just like the like normal interactions that they have, like
yeah, some of them are pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Like just not the way that like human beings talk.
Yeah.
Like some stuff, it's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like, yeah.
What? You're too war torn to put on a dress? It's like, why are you trying on a dress randomly in this small town? Like, it's very contrived and
I mean, even past that, I'm trying to think of like, there were some like, especially like the gas station lines and everything.
Yeah,
like, everything was just so. There was one scene where I think it was when they were driving. Kirsten Dunst says something like. Something about the younger girl, like, oh, yada yada, like she gets off at Charlottesville or whatever, and then like Joel is like, I'm not being protective, and it was like, oh, like this doesn't, like that's not a conversation.
Yeah.
Those two lines don't work well next to each other. I gotta feed the cats. Quick pause.
Hey, come on. This episode's about to be a fucking nightmare to edit. Oh my god.
Better to edit, maybe.
That's what I just said. Oh. Hi, Oreo. You can't eat any gummy bears. You can sniff if you want. Go see your dad. Your dad's feeding you. This is terrible podcasting.
Thank you. Milo.
How did the world's best create the ultimate gummy? Naturally. The same unsettling obsession. What the fuck is the description on the back? Oh, wait, we've talked about this. The same unsettling obsession, unmatched standards, and relentless pursuit that brought you the world's best 12-flavored gummy bears just created the ultimate gummy. By combining natural flavors and colors from real fruits, vegetables, and superfoods with our... Superfoods are fruits and vegetables, yeah. They put chia seeds in here. I definitely just dropped a gummy bear into my crotch, and I don't know where it went. Unsettling obsession is not something good to put on your packaging for your marketing for your gummy bears, I don't think.
I mean, I feel like Willy Wonka would have put it on his, right? You ever see the guy?
Do you think Jeremy Allen White is hot?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me find this gummy bear before it melts into here.
I did not like his photo shoot, though.
The one where they edited out his belly button?
Yeah. And they made him, like, super vascular and stuff.
Yeah. Vascular? Okay.
Is that not the word?
No, it is.
Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe he is that vascular in real life, but, like, Jesus Christ.
He was pretty ripped for the Iron Claw, which he was in.
Haven't seen that, yeah.
It's good.
I gotta check out the bear first.
Oh, I found the gummy bear.
Nice.
You check out
the
these
bear.
bears. Yeah. Okay, so... I do think,
Yeah, we were talking about awkward dialogue.
Yeah. The scene where they're on the bleachers and the Jessie character is asking Kirsten Dunst, like, oh, so, you know, what's your background like? And she's like, well, that's my Wikipedia page. Like, it just very, clunky.
I mean, I guess that was supposed to be her sort of, like, reaching out and, like, oh, like, I want to know the person behind the page.
Oh, for sure.
I want to be able to... Because she does say, like, straight up, I want to be able to fill in those blanks.
I don't have any problem with the scene itself. I have a problem with the way it was written. Because it grinds the movie to a halt. The movie has this propulsive energy. There's no reason that they need to, like, stop everything to have this super clunky, like, forced kind of feeling.
And the whole movie is very tense. Like, we mentioned tension earlier, right? Mm-hmm. The whole movie is very tense. We get out of this, like, sort of frenetic, like, energy thing where... Because that was right after they had fought in the building, right?
Yeah,
they had the gunfight in the building. So, like... I mean, maybe not tense, but, like, definitely action-filled, like, high energy. And then, like, you expect them to go back to building tension. And it's just sort of like a... Oh, like...
It takes a minute, yeah.
Yeah, we found, like, a nice little camp. Let's hang out for a little bit.
Which I would have loved to see them interacting with the civilians more.
Yeah, like
that
anyone
would have
else.
been, yeah.
I would have liked there to... So, it felt like until the end there weren't really any consequences, I guess it sounds weird to say. Like, they introduced two characters just to kill them off immediately.
Yeah.
And, like, they introduce them in such a way that it's like, oh, these are like the fun, lighthearted characters.
Yeah.
Like they
know
each
you're
other.
gonna see these guys die.
Yeah, yeah. And they also like only killed those two.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
fine, whatever. And then we get like the Deus Ex Machina, Sammy comes in with the car. And again, like, he's the wizard. That's Gandalf. That's Gandalf coming
wizard.
in there. It's Gandalf coming in to, like,
Yeah.
Stop the Balrog, Jesse Plemons is the Balrog in this movie.
Listen, he could
Listen, he can whip me. Is that what you're going to say with the Balrog whip? Is that what you're going to say? Disgusting.
I wasn't. I was gonna make a...
Say it. You can edit it out later.
I was gonna say something about Balrog, more like ball gargle. I don't know. I was gonna say something like that.
I'd rog his balls.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, but then I started laughing.
My room is still a mess, so you can't see that.
I'm not worried about your room, Chief.
Yeah, I am. Jeez.
Oh my god. Should we talk about that scene? I think that's the standout scene of the movie.
Are we long enough into it? You think that because it's Jesse Plemons?
No,
okay?
I really do think that scene is like the most tense and the most, just like the most exciting scene.
I think it is.
I could be biased. It's true.
Yeah, I think you're a little biased. I also think it is the most tense scene for sure. Maybe not the most exciting. I could see people being more excited like with the fireworks and theatrics at the end.
Yeah, I guess I think like that is the movie or the scene in the movie that is the most revealing because we don't know who that guy is.
Yeah,
it's all about we don't know who's in that truck. Like they're they're just civilians, the dead bodies, and so it's like, yeah, it's very much like illuminating like, oh, the point of this movie
of the nation.
Yeah, well, yeah,
or like the like general zeitgeist, right? Like because that
yeah, I'm thinking zeitgeist.
Well, yeah, just like
Ricky pulling out the Scrabble words here.
Yeah, my bad, Jesus.
Yeah, just like
that was a 26 pointer, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. Like the idea that this movie is political. It's just not breaking it down into just left versus right. And I don't mean that in a stupid centrist like, oh, actually we're all
both sides are wrong.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was. I wish I wasn't in person so I didn't have to see you make the face you just made when you did that. Your fucking forehead vein is like bulging out. You got the sandworm from Dune.
I get like my mouth as small as possible
and
like up under my nose.
Horrifying. Yeah. No, but
I think I'd be good in like a Jim Carrey-esque role, Like
you don't. I'm sorry, you don't have Jim Carrey energy.
Wow,
don't.
I don't. That's crazy.
Did I just watch a movie and then compare you to the actor in my head? Not this movie. Fuck, what did I watched something the other day. I am looking at Letterboxd to see what it was. Okay, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, no, but I do think that scene, yeah, it kind of reveals what he's trying to say, I guess. And so I enjoy it the most for that. Like, it is the most tense and like the most exciting, I think.
I think the scene right before it, or well, not like immediately before, but like a little bit before.
The car chase, or not chase, but the car where they're like going back between the two cars.
No, the one where they're being shot at from the house.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
yes.
that also true.
Because that was not as tense, more like action filled, less tense, right? Where it's this
bastardization of like a Christmas Wonderland. Like,
and like the danger is like very evident, right? Like as soon as like you like sort of like you see the body, and you're like, oh okay, like they are going to be shot at.
Yeah.
And then like we find their like saving grace. It was like a sniper shooting back, and then like the sort of political side of it is they get out and they're like the interviewer's sort of like trying to run an interview like on the sniper and his spotter. Who are both at separate times saying, really "Hey, funny. Shut the fuck up." And I mean, they do eventually save him, but
he says
short of it was
he's like, "Well, are you on the Western Forces or like who are you fighting for?" And he's like, "Well, this guy's shooting at us." Like, yeah. Although I don't love that they use the R word for like comedic effect there. That is a little like I get that it's depiction is not endorsement, but it did get the hardest laugh in the theater. Like, right? From the clowns. From the worst,
yes.
lowest common denominator, yeah. But yeah, so that kind of, but...
Yeah. I I think that was when we did like the bombastic side eye, because there were like a few times where I tried
Yeah, I know
something,
you
I would
saw me
like
looking
sort
at
of
you.
look over and you were just and like that was the one time that I like actually had to go like seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, that scene where it is very clear, like the nihilistic, like this is war and we just are looking for excuses to shoot each other and like it doesn't matter.
See, those guys didn't feel like that as much. Like those guys, it's like they were kind of just there to survive because they weren't.
How'd they get there in the first place? You know what I mean?
So that was also a huge question for me. Like,
well, they got there
how
for
the
some
fuck did
reason.
any
I
of
mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean? They were in
right.
fatigues. They have rifles. Like obviously,
Right.
they
They're
were
full camo gear. They
they're
got like
soldiers.
soldiers. And
Yeah,
shit on them.
Yeah,
they got a
they had the ghillie suit.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I love the idea though too. I mean, this movie doesn't say when it's happening, like during the year, but it's clearly not winter, right? And so, but there's still this Christmas decorations up. So has that guy been holed up in his suburban house, his McMansion, for, for months?
Right, or did he set that up?
As
Is this some weird ambush?
It's weird, yeah.
Right.
It's interesting.
And like the car that we see broken down
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it would have been one that these military guys came in on. It was like a
so where'd they
farm
come from?
truck or something.
I like that. I like the chaotic kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like episodic nature of this movie. I do
Yeah,
like that
okay,
it's
yeah.
like different scenes of violence, and oftentimes it's just not clear. I think that's
like what sides are fighting what, and
Yeah.
it's nobody's really in the right is the thing, right?
Well, I do think it's supposed to be clear. If like gun to my head, if I was in the Civil War,
Right. Jesse Plemons is holding you off, right?
Jesse Plemons could shoot.
Listen, Jesse Plemons wants to shoot up my guts. Who am I to say no?
Thank you for taking the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That's what I
I'll
thought.
have to take something of Jesse Plemons right out of your mouth too. Anyway.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
The sunglasses are great. They're a good look. They're a great touch.
No. And like he had like blonde hair and like the like red beard, but it wasn't like red, it was like orange.
It's hot.
And then the dark red sunglasses.
It's true.
Like Oakley's where it's just all glass, there's no frame.
Yeah, they look like party favors. Like they
Yeah,
look like the shit that
yeah,
you would get on New Year's Eve.
He looked like a clown. And then so like to see him just so casually like spreading lie on
yeah,
bodies.
it was gross.
When
yeah.
when you see it from a distance, at first it's like, okay, like maybe they get out of this, right?
Yeah.
Because like maybe it's like they have a few bodies, right?
Yeah.
Like they've killed people, but not a ton. And then when they walk down and it's just a pit filled with bodies, and like he's like ever so casual with it. And when he's talking to them the whole time, I couldn't get his hands out of my field of vision.
Yeah.
Because they're like all swollen.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's been punching stuff and like blood
Yeah,
in between the
he
fingers.
like is rubbing his face and getting blood on his face. It's nasty.
I didn't even notice that. I just
because he keeps scratching his face to like be casual, and he's so you're like, what kind of American are you? And he's just like casually got like 5 different people's bloods.
Yeah.
Bloods.
And that was the scene where that's straight up lifted from like a school shooting.
What is?
The hey, so, or at least my mom used to tell me,
oh, do you believe in God? The Columbine thing?
Yes.
No, I don't think that's what that's...
I don't know if that's real. I thought that's what it was.
That's real,
to.
but I don't think that's what they're referencing.
Really? Okay, I just figured.
No. Well, because that's, I mean, a completely different context question. And there's clearly like racism involved in what is happening here in this movie.
Right. I mean, I think also the like, are you an atheist? Like, do you believe in God? Sort of thing. Definitely has like racial implications.
Yeah, but that was 2 fucked up teenagers in Colorado, and this is the state, or like presumed state violence. Like, I do think it's different.
But I mean, let's be real here. The state itself sort of draws those who would, inflict that violence, right?
You're gonna get up and do some stretches before you make this reach? I mean...
No, is that a crazy thing to say?
No, I think that, like, comparing it to Columbine's a little crazy.
No, I think, okay, maybe that's a bit much, but like you can't say that like that guy, right, if he was like deployed overseas, wouldn't also do like very fucked up things. Like,
for sure, 100%.
Like it's the Chris Kyle type, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Where they're lauded
Don't
as
say that
heroes
name.
if it's against enemies,
for sure.
But like I mean, like that guy probably would have went crazy and like killed civilians at some point. Like
he clearly did. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he was killing civilians. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest here. So, as a state which is using violence to rule is going to draw, people. I'm just saying.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
No, I think that your basic premise of comparing this to Columbine is crazy.
Okay, my bad. I don't know.
I mean, I just don't think it's that bizarre to think of a soldier asking that question in normal circumstances either.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's unique to Columbine, I guess.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I don't know. It was just what it reminded me of. And I figured they sort of threw that in there for, like, shock value.
Oh, I think it's...
It is shocking for sure. But...
Yeah, I mean, when he shoots the first journalist, it's awful. Yeah. And then to shoot the second one, like, it's coming.
Yeah.
And it just, it's definitely gross. Still hot, though.
The car scene immediately afterwards, that was shot so... I really enjoyed the way that was shot, I'll say. Because, like, you have, like, it's almost like a, like, trail cam on the front of the car, like, as it's, like, barreling into Clemens and the other guy that was there.
Oh, sure.
And then, like, you see them sort of, like, flying off.
I thought you meant the way that the shot or like the scene of them driving away while the Sammy character dies. I thought you liked the way that was shot, and I was like, that was shot like a music video. So I'm judging you.
No,
like over the music, the acoustic,
yeah.
like yeah.
No, that looks like a music video for Owl City, Fireflies.
I was gonna say, or like Coldplay. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be a good Coldplay. Yeah, with the flames and everything. No, that's Coldplay. Yeah, you nailed it.
What if instead of all of the different music in this, it was like Linkin Park? Like, what if they played?
I've become so numb, I can't feel you there.
Would that make the movie better or worse for all of them?
Kind of depends. Are the explosions also replaced with Michael Bay explosions?
Anyway, we didn't talk about Jesse Plemons enough.
Do we get a single
we're
car?
We're going way off already.
All right, back to Plemons. Bring it back to Plemons.
I mean, I don't have anything else intelligent to say. I do think he's...
Do you have anything else, like, guttural and primal to say about it that's been inspired?
Well, in the car earlier when I laughed to myself, I thought the same shooting into my guts. And then I was like, I can't
save for the pod. I had a couple zingers, which have, like,
they've since left.
Ceased. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Faded into the ether. Oh, well.
Yeah. No, I do think he's a good actor. I just watched another movie with him in it yesterday. That was the one where Bemidji showed up randomly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which was really funny. Playing a very different character. But yeah, he is really good at playing weird guys, but like not in like a different archetype of weird guy than like you think of when you think of like a weird guy character actor.
He's like off-putting guy.
He's
not just weird guy.
Yeah, he's like unsettling and like, but not in like a squirrely way, which a lot of character actors are.
He honestly, so in Power of the Dog, he seemed like uncomfortable in his body.
Yeah.
In like a lot of ways.
Be comfortable in my body.
And I mean, I think that sort of added to the message of the movie itself, just like being uncomfortable with your identity, yada yada. And obviously, like, he was uncomfortable with his identity.
He was also
as a cowboy.
having to fucking deal with his shithead brother.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I think he did that really well. And like, obviously, here he did really well because he was like odd in a very off-putting way, where you're like, oh, okay, I don't know what the fuck this guy is gonna do, like, while he's on screen.
Yeah.
And also, like, handling lie with your bare fucking hand is ridiculous.
It's manly.
This guy's insane. Wish he would handle me with his bare hands.
Yeah, true.
Instead spreading a bag of me all over. Anyway.
You said it, not me.
Oh, Mr. Lemons. I take him with a hit of salt. Anyway, that was awesome.
Every time I break to laugh, I feel like you're just cooking new ones. It's bad. No, he's in Killers of the Flower Moon as well.
Oh,
yeah,
I heard really good things about that one. Yeah,
it's an incredible movie. And he plays who's it? Lionel?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see why you're so bad during these records.
He does this too.
What a good kitty.
Yeah, right.
In Killers of the Flower Moon, he has a small part, almost smaller than this one, but he is similarly like an out-of-towner coming into, or like, an oddball.
I'm out of town. Choose around.
What is that from? What?
Gucci bag, my foodie whole brown. No, nothing for that one. That's fine. Keep going.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh,
He's an
just
out-of-towner.
yeah, he's coming from outside of the town where all of the murders are taking
I
place.
wish he was coming from me.
Anyway, he's a good actor. I think he's already Oscar nominated. I think he's gonna happen a lot more. I'm not super impressed with Kirsten Dunst in this movie. I don't like what she was doing in a way. Yeah, she had it softened partway through, but she was trying really hard to be like aloof, and maybe that was her intention, was to kind of show that this journalist isn't as aloof as she wants to seem. But I didn't pick up on that. Like,
we get the shell shocked thing, or like really early on, like first 10 minutes, she's in the tub.
Well, she's having like
PTSD.
flashbacks. Yeah, not shell shocked.
Not shell shocked, right? But, yeah, like PTSD. So like right off the bat, you're like, okay, like not great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like ghosts of it. There's ghosts of like a character arc happening there, but nothing really substantial.
Yeah.
But like this movie isn't for that, right?
No. I'm just thinking of her. I'm thinking of the performances of the actors. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Specifically, I think she might have been the weakest of the lead four. Yeah. I don't know. It's a toss up, I think, between her and the girl. Well, I don't know.
Sammy's not in it for much either.
Well, his performance is good. I think it's a poorly written character.
Yeah.
And I think the male journalist does a good job of being like walking the line of like slimy. Like when they're in the car and it's like the first night, it's like, is he hitting on her?
Right. Yeah.
Like, it walks a good line. Like I was definitely like uneasy, like,
But he wasn't like inappropriate with it.
No.
And like he very much so, like when he was setting up his tent role and everything. He injected
it with like just enough like flirtatiousness or something to be like, is he or isn't he like a skis?
Gotta take another really quick break.
Oh my god.
Hey, stop. You have to.
What are they trying to eat?
No, Lionel does this thing where if I give him food he doesn't like, he just won't eat it, and so he like bites at like random stuff.
That's cute.
It's not, because I have to give him something he will eat. But I just put it over the food that's already there, and then he eats it.
That's funny.
Alright, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
Okay. What were we talking about? Bad dialogue, the characters.
Bad dialogue. Joel kind of flirting with the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then the guys mentioned later that, like, he did kind of, like, hit on her.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I was really drunk. So, like, at least he, like, gets that, like, like...
Yeah. Maybe the most complex and interesting character of them all because of that.
Which is kind of saying something because, like, outside of that, his character seems sort of muddled, right? With, like, his intentions, I guess. And we touched on that earlier.
Yeah, well, after their two journalist friends are shot, and they go to the base of the Western forces, and he's like sobbing and crying, and Kirsten Dunst comes up and they're talking to the other members of the press, and like he's like freaking out, and he's like, go ahead, tell her like what's going on, and it's just the reveal that they're moving in on the president, and so they're not going to get the story.
Yeah.
It's like, it really takes you for a wild ride. Like, what are they going to say, and why is he so heartbroken about it? And it's just like, oh, you're just sad that he died for nothing, but aren't you just kind of sad that you don't get a story out of it? Like that's
right,
what it...
Right, that's what it comes down to. Is like, I don't get a story here.
It's not really
and
about
Sammy
the guy.
died.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's like an afterthought.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I think he phrases it real weird too. He's like, Sammy didn't even die for anything good.
Yeah, right.
Like,
he says that.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Bizarre.
After, like, the guy literally just saved your life.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And I mean, your two friends who, like, you're obviously very heartbroken about also died, and, like, you were yelling at those two journalists to remember their names, like, 10 seconds ago, but
he didn't die for anything good.
Yeah, but Sammy didn't really die for anything good.
Yeah,
whatever.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think that's an interesting character. That's the most interesting character, probably, of all of them.
Yeah,
the girl doesn't really... I feel like she has a pretty predictable arc. Kirsten Dunst, too, is kind of one note.
Neither of them have much to relate to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Kirsten Dunst, I guess because she's trying to play it stony, trying to play aloof, but, like, she's also doing that to the audience. Like, we have no other relationship to her. And then the girl, I mean, we just don't really see her do much, right? Like, this is the beginning of her career, I guess. But, like...
Careful. Ooh.
He's fine.
I mean, the mic, if he... or hits,
okay.
like, a button on your keyboard.
He's good.
And deletes the recording or something.
Control Alt Delete. So yeah, I mean, it was just... It's interesting, I guess. Yeah, this is what I have to deal with all day.
That's what I'm hearing during the...
Kitties.
The cat is on top of the desk.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Yeah, so I don't know, like... I mean, for her as a character to not really have anything for us to latch onto when we're, like... I mean, I guess this is, like, quote-unquote the start of her story, right? Like that would be... Like, the photo she takes at the end is, like, the photo, period, right? But also of her career. So... I don't know. It's odd. It's not really satisfying either, at least to me.
I think it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie has a pretty dark view of, like... I don't want to say it has a dark view of journalism, but yeah, certain, like, exploitative tendencies, I guess.
Yeah, it's sort of, like, sardonic with how it pokes at, like, oh, like...
Ending on the photo of them all gathered around the body for the credits for, like, a long time, like 2 minutes, is while it develops.
Yeah. That I thought was a really nice touch. I really enjoyed that. Like, watching it go from, like no saturation to, like, super, super saturated, right?
Yeah.
That was really cool. And, I mean, it's also, like, it does, like, perfectly put, like, a pin in, like, hey, this movie, we're not about, like, these aren't the good guys, you know?
Yeah, right.
We're not about the military violence here.
Yeah.
State-sanctioned violence. So,
yeah, either know. State. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, overall, really good. Like, maybe not fun watch, but definitely interesting,
thrilling.
Engaging.
It's a thrilling movie,
Thrilling,
for sure. Yeah. The sound is crazy.
Yeah.
The first shot, the first, like, it's like after a moment, like a scene of complete silence, I think, or like, I can't remember when it is exactly, but then the first time that they cut to the building siege, and the first shot, like actual gunshot.
I thought you were talking about the bomb.
No, after that, and then, when the first, like, shot rings out, there's, like, a kind of a quick, like, change to that, and it's really scary and jarring. Yeah. All of the gunshots sound frightening.
Yeah, I mean, something that Michael Mann does very well in Heat.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely talked about this.
1995?
Yes, 1995.
But yeah, so, like, that's kind of where I was trying to draw parallels to that, just a little bit. But, I mean, he does it for, like, one very specific moment, and then this movie has it just, like, sort of interspersed about. I mean, even seeing, like, the gunshots in the background sometimes, it's like, I mean, those guys are, I don't know. I think it adds a lot. Honestly, that scene adds a lot to Joel's character, but, like, no one else's.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a number of scenes like that where it's like, oh, we get to see more of, like, how Joel feels about these sort of things and, like, how he reacts in these situations.
Yeah.
And, like, even with, like, how he sort of looks after the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Like, we see pretty often, like, oh, like, Joel's kind of protective. Oh, like, Joel...
Yeah, he's, like, herding them around, and... Yeah.
It almost makes... And, like, the fact that he's the one that gets the quote at the end, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, is he the main character? Like, I saw
No.
Kirsten Dunst as the main character of the whole film.
Yeah, for sure she is. Absolutely.
But, like...
Things are usually from her perspective.
Yeah, but, like, he's the one that's, like... I don't know. Shit goes down for, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though it's not, like, great. It's not very well developed.
Yeah, again, I don't think this movie, it's not really about the characters. I mean, the characters are, serving a purpose as opposed to a complex...
They're serving their country.
I don't know about that. What country? There's, like, 4 in this movie now.
What type of American are you?
Hey. I'm not incriminating myself. I have had different friends fucking repeat awful, degraded shit back to me, and I'm like, I said that?
Me? No.
I would never.
No.
I would never.
Did you see how the sunglasses looked on his face?
I never said that. I didn't say it like that. I said they were a good look. It's a good crazy.
Good look.
You know what it actually reminds me of though?
What?
Like I'm not saying it makes them look hot.
Oh God.
It's the January 6th fucking guy with the horns. It's like crazy party apparel. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, vaguely.
Like I think
like
that's
the
what
Viking
they're.
guy. Yeah,
yeah.
like,
I
that's
feel
what
like
they're going for.
Somewhat. I think it's supposed to be like the kind of like alt-right, like
I thought...
weirdo aesthetic, or like
okay.
you know, like meme aesthetic almost.
I thought it was like Oakley Dad type aesthetic.
bright red sunglasses like that. That's not Oakley's. Those aren't the like. You know the like collages of like people's Twitter profile pictures, and they're always like, do you know what I'm talking about? Where they have the like I drive a truck, like a pickup truck sunglasses, and it's like a picture, like a selfie up close.
Yeah.
That is
last seen on Facebook.
Yeah. That would be the aesthetic if they were going for that. Would be those types of sunglasses. But this is like more like Boogaloo Brothers, like meme, I'm online, like I post Pepe's, like kind of a thing.
You think so? Okay.
I think that's what that choice is for.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't read.
It's not like they're blocking the sun. I mean,
no, I know.
They're there for aesthetics.
I guess I don't know. I guess sunglasses wouldn't really remind me of like the online alt-right, except for maybe those like massive like multicolored ones that like snowboarders and shit wear. If you're wearing it and you're not snowboarding, like, buddy. Right.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's like not, it's a signifier that like, it's not just like your normal conservative patriot. Like it's a specific type of like extremely violent dude.
Right. They're making up a type of guy.
I don't think they're invoking a type of guy.
They're invoking a type of guy. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything else.
Probably for the best, right?
I did text you, like, I love the military now.
Oh, yeah. You were like, oh, man, Clemens is in the Army in this one? I don't know. I might have to sign up with my local recruiter. Sheesh.
Michael Moore is in shambles. He's punching the air raid.
They did 9/11! They did it, folks!
Remember your training. Oh my God.
I had a riff on Michael Moore too, which I thought about like a day or two ago, specifically in regards to this movie.
It's embarrassing to reference a joke that you didn't make because you don't remember.
You did that earlier!
No, I said that I was going to make the joke that you made about getting my guts shot into.
Oh my God. No, earlier than that. I feel like you did this earlier. I feel like you did it on the pod. I feel like there's incriminating evidence.
When I go back and listen to it again, I'll see.
You're going to cut it. You're going to cut it.
Well, I'm into revisionist history.
Yeah. It's just like 5 minutes of dead air. Then you're like, Rick, I don't know what
happened. Yeah.
I guess we lost that footage. Oh, man. Yeah, no. Good stuff, though. There's a lot of, like, really shocking imagery throughout the film.
It's extremely gory and violent.
Yeah. Like, even in flashbacks, and then...
Yeah.
Like, the live... So, when they first pull up to that gas station, and they walk down there, I thought those guys were dead.
I did too. I thought they were hanging bodies. Yeah.
That's the assumption, right? Because you see them only from like a distance, and then, like when they walk down.
Well, and then there's
you see like the extreme close up, the guy like spitting blood.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
but
man.
Then I feel bad because the scene where they're driving under the overpass and it says "Go Steelers," and I like chuckled, and then I was like, "Oh, there's 2 bodies hanging from the overpass here."
So I saw the 2 bodies, and immediately my mind went, "What it feels like to be a Eagles fan in Steelers territory," and like.
You just doxed yourself again.
Yeah.
Now they know you like Philly. No.
Oh man. Yeah, but I mean, clear reference to, you've never seen the films, so you wouldn't know this. Clear reference to Pirates of the Caribbean, you know.
Hanging bodies?
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
The shocking violence of invoking a Johnny Depp movie.
Jesus.
No, it's really gory when they run over the corpse. I was like, please don't do it, please. Like I knew it was gonna happen.
As soon as it was in the road, I was like, oh, okay, so they're running over it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But like the way that they do it and the way that they show it too, and like the body movement in this film, like from all of them, is rough. It's rough. Yeah. I don't know, from many scenes. The scene with the three guys getting shot,
Yeah.
the bodies getting dumped, the driving over them. Honestly, it kind of tapers off as it gets later into the film.
That's
like,
true.
Like when you get into like the really
Yeah.
bombastically loud, sort of violent, like overtly violent ones.
Yeah, when it's like military actions, it doesn't seem as gory. Yeah,
Right,
It's not
right.
as like like shockingly violent.
Yeah, a lot of that,
Which is
I guess, is
interesting.
because like they're in vehicles, or
Yeah.
because it's like a lot
It's
more
long
people.
distance, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and it is further distance. But even with like the sniper shooting, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like every shot that you see like hit like the window or something, it's like, oh fuck, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus like when they're like walking into the White House. Not for a second did I think that any of our main cast was going to be hit by a stray.
No,
or
not at
like
all.
there's no sense
No.
of danger for those guys.
Yeah.
So
Another reason why that's the best scene in the movie is because it's the only one where it feels like they're in any danger.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's that whole sequence, and like to have the one sequence where they're getting shot at by the sniper, and it's like, okay, like tensions are set, like shit's real, they can die, to like the Jesse Plemons scene, and then immediately in the center they have this like weird, silly little like, haha, we're enjoying ourselves in the apocalypse like
Yeah.
moment, like it's the fall of Western civilization, who cares? It's just like a really weird, odd juxtaposition, which they throw in a lot in this film.
Yeah.
Of just like more normal or like more happy scenes,
Yeah.
which don't help break the tension at all. Like
No.
even like Sammy's death in the car,
Mm-hmm.
like I guess that was supposed to be touching. Didn't feel touched because of like the music
No.
choices, which we mentioned.
Yeah.
Also, didn't really release any tension in my body at all because like. I don't know, like, sure, he's dying, like, I guess this is a fine send-off as they're driving through, like, burning forest, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just odd, like, that whole
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah. I really don't like the scene of them in the store, like either. Like when she's taking
Yeah.
her picture and stuff. It's like, yeah, just kind of awkward. Doesn't break tension, but doesn't build it either. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really add anything to their characters either. Like,
No.
it's a little playful, a little fun.
Yeah, I guess it's to show, the two of them like starting to bond a bit, and show
Right.
that I guess the Jesse character is a little bit more, like, sharper, or like, she can be clever, I guess, in getting Kirsten Dunst to laugh. But
Yeah, just not like, I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Like, that was,
yeah,
like, it was fine. And I kind of get why it's there, right? Like, and it's
Yeah.
also like you get to look into the life of like.
a rando who just lives in a small town that's
Yeah.
guarded by dudes with AKs. Yeah,
Right, and like even if they are really like in proximity close to the fighting, like, like it doesn't affect them. They're gonna just keep doing the
Yeah.
things they're doing. Like, oh yeah, I guess I'm gonna stay out of that. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is, yeah. I
Oh, are
know,
you
I
from
felt it-
Bemidji?
I felt it.
I was
slip
gonna
out.
say, my God.
I'm transformed.
Someday we'll watch the Fargo TV show.
Yeah.
I think so.
Hey, I'm down to watch it.
Okay.
We want to watch Fargo TV show. All right.
Later. Yeah, soon. Anything else about this movie?
I don't know. I think that's it for me. There was definitely like more that I wanted to talk about, like while watching it, and then
Yeah.
like on the ride home. But like,
But we kept hitting each other. Don't talk about it. Save it for the pod.
Yeah.
We should have taken notes. I've taken a notebook to the theater to take notes before, but yeah. Listen,
I'm not saying anything.
Ricky is using his eyebrows to communicate horrible thoughts.
The hungry caterpillars up here.
I never realized how baby smooth your forehead is.
Thanks, dude.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well, you've got like eye crinkles, but your forehead is like totally.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Because like,
Yeah, because you used your eyebrows like
yeah,
like they're your sixth sense.
very expressive. I feel like I'm always crinkling this shit up.
I feel like
too.
you could like tell time with them. That's how much you use your eyebrows.
Like the amount of times they move, or like am I like putting it out in the sun,
Oh,
seeing how it lines up? Like what?
You're like extending the hairs to tell if there's winds. Like... Anyway, another one for the Ricky appearance that you're drawing in your head is that he has a super smooth forehead, despite having crazy eyebrows.
I've also been told before that I should get my eyebrows waxed, yeah, or threaded.
I've definitely given you this advice before. When we take your Tinder pictures, we'll Ricky's
that
on
started.
Tinder. If there are any eligible bachelorettes out there who are listening to this podcast who are into Wes Anderson types, you go ahead and email me. He's Addled Alpaca on Letterboxd.
No comment.
I don't think there's a single. Oh, I know one woman that listens to this podcast. Shout out Asher. I was like,
Hey, listen, I've still got some hopes for our Brussels sprouts.
Brussels
sprouts out there.
You might be our only hope, Rob. I know you're not a girl, but
I almost said broccoli. I was like this close. I was like,
or broccoli sprouts.
Yeah. I was gonna be like, our little broccolinis out there, and I was like, that's not.
We
it.
love you, Brussels. Sorry that we don't know anything about the city, so that we can make funny jokes instead.
We can keep saying sprouts. Do you guys like that? I mean, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy us shouting you out.
The sprouts.
Yeah.
No, because they're the wannabes.
Well, I mean, for our listeners within Brussels.
I don't know how many there are. It might just be one person.
Great.
They are probably cracking themselves
then.
up.
Yeah.
Every time they hear this.
Hopefully, because I mean, we're shouting them out specifically. Then
it's true.
You know?
Yeah. Kirsten Dunst is a lucky woman. I think that's all I got to say about this movie. Go see it.
Jesse Plemons is a lucky man.
That's true. Kirsten Dunst is very beautiful too. But
yeah.
But I like to be respectful about women.
Fair. Ricky hates women.
Ricky does hate women.
To all bachelorettes out there. He's on Tinder and hates women. All right.
I think there's other women that listen to this podcast, but
it's
they
been
know
theorized.
you, so
it's been theorized. Yeah.
It's a good movie. If you're listening to this,
and you haven't seen it for
some
reason,
that's really sucks.
If you got it this far, then well, fuck, man.
Yeah,
right?
You really should have gone and seen it instead of listening to us talk about it and spoil it.
True.
But I think even having it spoiled is probably still worth. Seeing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's a ton of scenes we didn't talk about, and especially.
I would rewatch this movie.
Yeah, same.
Should we go see it again right now? Should we go pick up Christopher?
Fuck it. And then come back and with
and
Christopher get a 3-man pod going?
I can't say some of this shit in front of Christopher. Are you kidding me? It's bad enough that he listens.
We can just have him cover his ears for a few minutes.
Christopher, who famously can't say the word pussy.
We have to get a buzzer, in real life, and just oh yeah, so Jesse Plemons in that scene was...
Oh my god.
It's because I do prop comedy too often.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Stop that.
Anything else about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I guess closing thoughts. Some of the pictures that they take are really good, and I wish she had kept the picture of Sammy. I thought that was a good one.
So you love violence and exploiting the dead and...
Yes, that's actually exactly what I meant by my comment. Thank you for construing it exactly how I meant it, and in no other way.
So next week is a Lane's Frame. And
what?
I'm consulting the list to make sure this is the one I want to see.
You're good. The what was to Lionel?
I knew you weren't talking to me.
Sometimes my friends on Discord will do that. I'll be like, "Hey, what are you guys up to?"
And they're like, "Oh, I'm just playing games."
Yeah. They're like, "I don't know, man. Just play Shogun 2." I'd be like, "Yeah, no, it's."
I was talking to the cats. Yeah. That was the cats.
And they're like, "Oh, all right. But I play Shogun 2.
They're like, "Why don't you use the Widow Baby Spoon voice for me, Ricky?" So next week is Elaine's Frame, and I have my movie picked. This movie I have wanted to watch for this podcast for a while. I've wanted to watch this movie for a long time, but have not done it.
You just had the phone out. What? How did you lose it?
I'm not losing it. I'm looking up the year.
You do that every time.
What?
Let it go once.
What, the year?
Just say the movie title.
I want to say the year in case people look it up, and there's multiple things of the... Okay. Right? I'm sure there's multiple movies named Civil War. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck it.
No, The Godfather actually did do that.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Next week is Elaine's Frame, and I've wanted to watch this movie for a long time. It's Animal House from 1978, directed by John Landis. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Okay, I haven't either.
This is based on a book, though, right?
No, are you thinking of Animal Farm?
Oh, right. It's Farmhouse. What's the difference, really?
Barn, church, store.
Back to the
school.
barnyard. This is the start of my slam poetry sesh. I don't know if you noticed.
Snapping.
I need Jesse Plemons to slam poetry me.
Oh my god.
Edit it out. Cut that out, Lane.
You cut it out. Oh god, we have to watch another Orson Welles movie sometime soon.
Oh god.
No, this is directed by John Landis. It's you ever heard someone say like toga, toga?
I've said that before.
That's from this movie. I mean,
oh, nice.
That is not the only thing about this movie, but I figured that was a good cultural touchstone you'd be familiar with.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen Homer say it too. The Simpsons is the only place where I get any media literacy from.
So this movie's directed by the director of American Werewolf in London and The Blues Brothers. Okay. So I have not seen this movie yet. I'm a little nervous. Those are two of my favorite movies of all time, as we've established. And this director has a lot of bad movies in his filmography, but it seems like those are all in the later half of his career after he killed 2 children on the set of one of his movies.
What the fuck?
I can't believe we haven't talked about
this.
this.
What the fuck is this lore drop, bro?
You know, when August...
Are you reading me his Wikipedia page right now?
When August and I started a podcast a while back and we tried to do it, the premise was basically movies with lore like that.
Oh, just the most fucked up shit you've heard, yeah?
Well, because I was explaining this to August, like, via Discord chat, and then they were like, pause, we have to fucking, like, talk about this on a recording. Like, but no, so... we can talk about that later. But so I'm a little nervous. It's a comedy, like a straight comedy. I'd say it's a pretty heterosexual comedy too, by the looks of it. It's from the 70s, so I don't know how it's going to hold up. But I figure it's a lighthearted fare compared to some of the shit we've watched lately.
Yeah, we've been going through it recently. We've really been in the trenches of the Civil War out here. Lane didn't like that one.
Lane was thinking about who I want in my trenches.
Wow!
How are we ending this? Next week? Okay.
Lane was thinking about who they want in their trenches. End.
That's true. Next week we want to watch Animal House from 1978, directed by a shitty guy named John Landis.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We need a song. Is there a good song?
There was one song that was really out of place and kind of cheesy in this film. I mean, honestly, a lot of them seem sort of out of place. You know what? Just end it here. Can you add in Silent Night, but just like the end little bit, and have it just be the like a sort of tinny orchestral version
of Silent Night?
Not Silent Night. Maybe.
The Christmas song?
What was the Christmas song that was on right at the end? It was like an ironic one.
At the end of this movie?
No, right at the end of the scene where they were sniping and then they go to drive away. I don't
remember.
There was like a fade out of a Christmas song, and like,
I don't know.
It was sort of uncanny hearing it, because like the lines that they were, like the if it had lyrics, the lines that would have been said there were "Sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly."
That's Silent Night.
Peace. Yeah.
I'm not ending the podcast with Silent Night. Are you kidding me?
All right, I don't know. Sorry.
I'm going to end it with WAP.
He got a beard, well, I'm trying to wet it. I let him taste it, now he diabetic. I don't want to spit. I want to...